Hi, I'm Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He's the author of the book Transcendent CEO and Culture, no other than Mr. Satyen Raja.
Thanks, Daniel, for having me. Looking forward to share with you.
Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Satyen. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
I'm a mentor, advisor. I lead the Warrior Sage Mastermind for founders, CEOs who have companies that are interested in expanding their businesses in a potent way, but also growing themselves, their personal lives, and having a life of fulfillment and balance. So I'm the leader and curator of Warrior Sage Mastermind.
Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world and hoping for more and more and more empowering books like this to come. Mr. Satyen, Transcendent CEO, can you tell us about this book?
Certainly. Well, it's actually a two-book set that I've created here. And one of them is called the Transcendent CEO, and the other one's called Transcendent Culture. Transcendent CEO is an oracle. It's the distillation of pragmatic principles, mindsets, attitudes, spiritual understandings, mindset understandings that are specifically designed for CEOs and founders to have an immediate up-leveling and an immediate, if you will, wisdom burst, a kick of wisdom. And so you can open up the book anywhere when you have a question, a tension, an inquiry. And what's interesting, like the tarot deck, you're going to get an inner answer to help navigate whatever you're dealing with. And the other book that goes along with it, Transcendent Culture, is about creating, sustaining, and inspiring super teams to turn whatever your team is into a super team.
So, what are your struggles in writing these two books, Mr. Satyen?
Well, the books are coming from real deep experience of mentoring my CEOs for over a dozen years in our mastermind. So the teachings, the wisdoms are what I share that are the most potent, pragmatic, life-affirming, business-expanding principles here. So my biggest challenge was, how do we distill 12 years of mentoring and understanding in a way that anyone who can read it can have immediate benefit? So I had to cut down all that knowledge and say, okay, I'm going to give you the most powerful pearls of transformation as a business leader. That was the biggest challenge, I would say.
If you will define yourself, what is transcendent? What is it?
Transcendent means operating in a whole other level of consciousness, a whole other level of mindset, attitude, and way of being. The old mindset was grind, crush it, push it, and then you gain results somewhere along the line and you celebrate those successes. But transcendent means to go beyond greed, beyond just your desire and ego's desire for gain. Transcendent means tuning into the flow of life. Transcendent means coming from a higher level of values, a higher level of virtue, a higher level of contribution and meaning.
Mr. Satyan, how does the book define the specific type of culture that is intrinsically linked to and fostered by the book?
Well, for companies to grow, it's really valuable to have a team, of course, that is synergized, potent, aligned, cohering together. The challenge is with many, many businesses, although the business idea, the product, the service might be quite good or even, exceptional, if the team dynamics behind the scenes are poor, it'll affect the business immediately. So the Transcendent Culture and Transcendent CEO book is about creating a culture, a team that is really inspired and solid. And we go through 5 elements, going from ego, or if you will, egoic power to enlightened power, going from closed hearts to an open heart, coming from your heart in your business, your passion, going from obstacle and tension to freedom and flow state, and then going from ignorance and awakening the wisdom, the collective wisdom in the team. So the books I've created are a very practical way, and there's exercises, there's a guided workshop you can take your teams through that start to make your team come together around a potent vision and mission that takes the company into a higher level of inspiration and power.
What concrete strategies does the book offer CEOs for actively shaping and embedding the desired transcendent culture throughout all levels of organization?
Every single chapter has a specific exercises, communication exercises, clarity exercises, exercises that you take your teams through. So when they're sharing, you're getting, here's the real crux of the problem. Here's what we can solve. Here's what we can shift. Here's what we can awaken. So the book is, if you will, every chapter is pragmatic and has exercises. And the final chapter is a whole 1-day workshop that I've designed that is easy to lead. You just follow the step-by-step instructions. If you have a small business or you've got a large business, the process will work with your team, and it's going to get them to come to a whole other level of positivity, alignment, and you just have to guide people through it step by step. So I'm very proud of that people and business leaders can have the expansion immediately without waiting. They can start seeing their team get stronger starting today.
Alignment, people, alignment. How can Transcendent CEO effectively communicate and instill this higher purpose culture in skeptical employees, investors, or board members focus on a short-term metrics?
Well, those who are only focused on short-term metrics, you might as well say goodbye to your business sooner or later. The evolution of business is now taking far more account the nature of our human condition, our human potential. And so my emphasis in these books has been, how do we grow ourselves as a leader, as a human leader? How do we grow our executive teams to make them really powerful humans and leaders? How do we grow our teams right down to the person who's sweeping the floors, so that everyone is involved in a mission, in a vision, in an inspiring way that brings the team together? I think it's really valuable that whoever's listening, skeptics, I got nothing for you. Go ahead. Those who understand and hear that the future of business, which is here now, is to have super teams, not just the star, not just the CEO, not just the founder, but everyone's got to be, how can I say, dialed up to their best. So if that's what calls, and those who are in business understand that the power of their team is the power of their success, they'll listen to this call.
Super team indeed. How does the book suggest measuring the success or impact of transcendent culture?
There's very specific markers that we have in our trainings and in the book. There's particular stats that we take a look at: team happiness, team efficiency, and of course all the other metrics having to do with the soft skills. We have the hard metrics. You can find that in any type of operational system or any type of tracking system in business, but there's no one until now who's offering the soft tracking of the internal state and how to have a team that's inspired and aligned and focused from within. Teams are generally working at around 30% of their efficiency. That sounds crazy. And the world we have, the business we have, are only working at 30%. And that's the best case scenarios. Most are less than that. So if we want to have our organizations go up to another level, we got to make sure that company culture and team loyalty, we got to be loyal to our teams. They're serving us, they're serving our customers. We must serve them deeply and not just take a look at them as human chattel or human resources, but a real human who has values and desires to live life. When we meet human to human, that's what changes everything.
Real human, indeed. Very well said, Mr. Satyan. Beautifully articulated. How does this model ensure the transcendent culture survives periods of rapid growth, significantly crisis, or crucially, the eventual succession of founding current CEO?
The principles are all the same. Grow yourself, grow your team, grow your vision, grow your mastery of who you are as a leader. This is perennial. It doesn't matter in strong economic times. We got to be even more clear. We can't get caught up in the success that's coming. We got to stay sober. In challenging times, we got to take ourselves and our teams and make them far more productive, far more efficient, but not from the whip, not from the carrot and the stick. We need to find a more powerful way, one that evokes the soul of our team. And how to do that is here. And when you evoke the soul of the team, I'll tell you something. They'll bat for you. They'll go the extra mile for you. When things are challenging, they'll stick with you. And this is what we create, a team loyalty. And that needs to be done throughout any condition. Great times, economic times, challenging economic times, or also if we're moving towards a merger, acquisition, a sale of a company. You got to keep your team inspired because there's a lot of emotional and psychological uncertainty. Our job as leaders is to support the uncertainty in our teams with certainty, with clarity, with vision and mission that keeps them going, but that's grounded in truth and not just talk.
Does the book address potential pitfalls or risks of this model?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The Like I shared before, the transcendent culture and transcendent CEO is, it doesn't matter what the company is. It doesn't matter what they're selling. It doesn't matter if it's a plumbing shop, an electrical shop. It doesn't matter if it's software, SaaS. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter the size of the company. Um, you know, some of the stories, the book is filled with real life stories of the CEOs I mentor and how they've applied the teachings in their companies and how they've grown them 10x, how they've dealt with challenges. It's very powerful, not just to hear my words, but to hear the words of the other CEOs who've turned around challenges, who've turned around like impossible situations and how they made it through, because that's going to be very inspiring.
How does the concept of the transcendent CEO hold up during periods of intense crisis or disruption?
It's the same. When crisis is at hand, groundedness, centeredness with our teams and ourselves is essential. If we're ungrounded and there's crazy stuff going on or volatility in the business, if we're not the leader inspiring our team to, okay, let's take assessment, let's take a few deep breaths, let's calm down, we got this. Whatever's going on, we're going to conquer it. Whatever's going on, let's take the leap that this is actually for me, for us. And that, all of how to do that, how to deal with the challenges of economic times, geopolitical, how can I say, uh, volatility and craziness and tariffs and you name it. This is a time for leadership to grow deeper within and to be unmovable, unperturbable, uneffable, if you will. When we have that dialed up within our side, then we'll make it through any era of business fluctuation.
Mr. Satyan, as an author, a coach, what are your short term and long term goals?
We have our mastermind, our Warrior Sage mastermind, which we're now bringing out to the world in a much more potent way. And that's available at warriorsage.com. And this is for business leaders doing at least 2 million net in their companies and higher. And they have a company that is making some type of positive impact. And they have the desire to grow as a whole person. They want to grow their faith, their family, their finance, their fitness, their fun. Um, this is the type of people that I exclusively work with in business. because they're the ones that are the most fun. They're the ones that have the biggest breakthroughs, when they're the ones who see that life is not just business. Life is all of it, and business is only there to serve our personal freedom and to serve some positive impact.
Indeed, and good luck to your goals, Mr. Satyan, and looking forward for more success. What will be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be an author and to be a coach like you?
I think, first of all, you got to find what your voice is that makes you unique. My mission is enlightening, unifying, mobilizing leaders for the greater good. So, for coaches, anyone who's thinking of creating a book, feel what's in your soul that needs to be fully expressed,
Yes.
that without in the full boldness of who you are. That's what you want to get across. Something that makes you feel, oh my goodness, if I put this out to the world, I don't know. This is my edge. Find something that's an edge and speak to your edge from your life experience, and there'll be far more potency and energy in your book.
Thank you for your advice, Mr. Satyan, and I hope people listening or watching right now can follow your advice. How does the book help leaders diagnose the difference between their aspirational transcendent culture and the culture that is actually lived day to day by employees?
Well, what's really nice is these books have assessments that you can do. And there's assessments that you can find online that are in the book. Once you go through those assessments in regards to power, what's the power dynamics in your organization? What's the connection and connectivity and positive energy and affinity within a company? We take a look at what's the degree of freedom people are having, the leader, the owner, and everyone. Is it free? Have we hit ceilings? Is there a lot of obstacles? We take a look at brass tacks. We take a look deep forensically. Where is there a lack of flow? Where is there constant problems, obstacles? Where do things get derailed or off track or bottleneck? And then we look at what's the wisdom in the company that's being undertapped and that can be brought forth. So we have full, powerful assessments that company leaders go through and executive teams go through, which help us then design a more bespoke way of approaching and helping the team, the company, really go to the next level rapidly, not just surely, but rapidly.
Rapidly, fast. Does the book argue that the principles of a transcendent CEO and culture are universally applicable across all industries?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We as leaders, these are books for those who wish to be the penultimate expression of their leadership, coming from the soul, the heart. And it's not just fluff. It's learning, and the exercise brings you right back into your ultimate leadership. So that's what I love about this experience is I've taken all my powerful exercises that I do in group sessions and I've put them in there easy to follow, so that we're not just reading and getting insight, we're also having a transformation and an up leveling of our leadership just by going through it.
Transformational people. And Mr. Satyan, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and of course, my book 101 review in its fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and of course, my food 101 in its fifth season as well. Geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast, Law 101 and Mental Health 101. Love Letters in third season, a Movie 101 review in fourth season, as well as my Music 101 and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. Mr. Satyan, what was the most profound insight or personal aha moment you have while researching or writing this book about transcendent leadership and culture?
I guess the biggest aha is why we don't have a book like this already.
Yes.
Why we don't have anything already. And that's why I wrote it. It's for the entrepreneur who has soul, who has a spiritual essence, who wants to grow as a whole being and not just want to grow their money. They want to grow their money, but they want to do it integrally. They want to do it from the heart. They want to do it connected to higher meaning. And so, yeah, that's the biggest revelation, that there are folks like us out there who are not just into making a buck, but making a life that's worth living.
Mr. Satyen Raja, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy as well as your coaching as well as your books?
All the social media channels, you can find Warrior Sage as well as my name, Satyen Raja. So search that. My main website is warriorsage.com. And I think if you go through there, it'll take you everywhere and you can download all types of free resources.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Satyen Raja, because if you support him, more and more and more empowering coaching to come, more and more and more empowering books to come. So, Mr. Satyen, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
More to come, people. See you soon.